expression. I would like to start off by first providing a resource to you, given to you by the sponsors and by the Institute of the Black World 21st Century. Is a community listening line, and the number is 1-877-719-1177. This resource line is for Black and brown parents who are in trauma, and it provides culturally responsive counseling to those parents, teachers, and frontline essential workers. I'm also president of Black Influencers United, and our vision is to serve Black educators, influence others, and impact Black children. Why are we here today? We are here because no Black and brown parents or community voices have been heard in the reopening of New York City Department of Education schools. In a system where 63% of the student body is Black and Latinx, we are not included as equal partners in the decision-making process. According to the New York State Department of Education, they are supposed to, and when I say they, city municipalities and school districts are supposed to be involved and engage parents in the planning process and guard against discriminatory actions against students and all stakeholders. The question I have is, are we not stakeholders? Do our voices not count? We are concerned about the health, the safety, the social and emotional support, the loss and the trauma that our children are feeling. Teaching, learning is a concern of ours, and how this remote learning will play out. We have been sidelined and we have been silenced. COVID-19 did not create this problem, it exposed it and it compounded it. Systemic racism in the nation's largest school district has always existed. This is evidenced by the high achievement gap, lack of equity in terms of gifted and talented programs for Black and brown communities. Specialized high schools are disproportionately white and Asian. The most segregated school system in the country is New York City Department of Education. Chancellor Carranza has attempted to bring equity, but Chancellor Carranza, if you want equity, if you have an equity agenda, you have to speak to the people who have been treated unequal. How can you have an equity agenda and you don't speak to the people who have been most impacted by racism? The unions fight against transformational change. The mayor has a task force to reopen schools, but missing in all of this is parents speaking, parent engagement. And we're not talking about symbolic engagement. We're not talking about just sitting on a community district educational council. We're talking about parent partnerships, not parent involvement. When you involve somebody, it means you already have an agenda, and you are involving them in an agenda that was already created. We want partnership, shared decision making, equal seat at the table around these issues. But the parents have been sidelined. So we're here today to say to the DOE and the UFT who argue, there's another voice that you have not heard, and that is the voice of Black and brown parents. Today, you will hear the voices of the shutout. Parents, community leaders, students, parent leaders, organizational leaders will speak on behalf of our community, and we have a simple ask. We want you to engage us as equal partners in the decision-making moving forward, whether it's reopening of schools, whether it is curriculum, whether it is hiring of teachers, whether it is what remote learning is going to look like. Talk to us. Because if you had talked to us, maybe you would have opened, reopened, opened again, and then reopened again. We thank Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams for this call to action. At a time like this, in a pandemic like this city is in desperate need of leadership. And we thank him for stepping up and providing a voice to the voiceless. So I have one question. Whose schools?
Our schools.
Whose schools?
Our schools.
Whose children?
Our children.
Whose children?
Our children.